And once we saw it, that was it. Now, we have literally restored every square inch of the theater. And I mean that literally. Every square inch. The ceilings, the floors, the walls, the seats, the stage, the sound, the electric, the HVAC systems, the outside of the building, the marquee, the windows, the doors, the plumbing. Everything has been modernized, upgraded, converted to a better functioning venue for the types of presentations we do.
Yeah. Welcome to the CCC News Podcast. I'm Tom Peterson, and today I have the pleasure of welcoming showman Chuck Gomez, who owns and operates the Granada Theater. Chuck is the owner of the Dalles historic Granada Theater, where he and his wife, Deborah Liddell, have led a years-long restoration of the Art Deco Moorish-style landmark. You purchased it in 2017, and you've overseen major upgrades from historically inspired renovations to modern features. The Granada's a new digital marquee we just saw go up a couple weeks ago. Pretty awesome. I'm really impressed the way that turned out, and it now lights up the downtown with show listings and community messages. And under your and Deborah's leadership, the Granada has become a hub for live performances, film, and community events, drawing nationally known acts such as Riders in the Sky to mention one. Gomez sees the project as more than a business. It seems like more of a commitment to preserving the local history and helping revitalize the downtown, the Dalles. Thanks for coming today, Chuck. It's a lot you've got going on out there. Thanks for giving us your time of yours.
I wouldn't know what to do if I wasn't busy. So sometimes Deborah, my wife, she barks at me for booking too many things and rolling too fast downhill and everything. But we love the Granada. Yeah. It's really not a job. It's more a passion. It has so much great history with it. And every day, every minute, we're trying to improve it and move into the future and take that next step.
I would agree. I mean, you guys seem tenacious to me ever since I've been kind of watching you guys since you've taken over the facility back in 2017. And that kind of leads me to my first question, Chuck. I know you're from Chicago, the south side of Chicago. Yes. We were chatting a little bit about that. And when you must have seen this facility for sale back in 2017, or how did you come to the Dalles? Tell me a little bit about that story. And
it's a really interesting story, and it's kind of those one in a million type of things. So. My wife had lost her sister to cancer. This is in Donna, my sister-in-law, was slowly slipping away for a year or two and passed away in 2014, 15. And my wife was just so depressed. She really was. It was the last sibling in her family, and her parents were gone, and it was the end of a generation, at least a generation's association. So I couldn't cheer her up. It had been 8, 9, 10, 12 months, and I called her best friend since the second grade.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's a long relationship.
They were friends for decades and decades. And they lived in Marcia. Marcia and Ray lived over in White Salmon.
Oh, okay.
And I just called Marcia up because I knew Marcia. Debbie and I had been together 30 plus years, and I knew Marcia. And I said, Marcia, Debbie is so depressed with the loss of Donna. Would you come visit us? And we still have our little theater in Illinois. And we were in Watseka, Illinois at the Watseka Theater. And bless her heart, Marcia goes, well, of course. And they fly out to spend a long weekend with us. I mean, that's true friendship.
Yeah, right.
So she comes out and she goes, I'm going to cheer up Debbie. We're going to, and she was a culinary graduate. So
Okay.
we're going to learn how to make the best pie crusts and how to make bread and croissants and all these bakery type things. And we have a little cafe associated with the Watseka Theater, and you can look it up. It's a really cute theater, watsekatheater.com, and it too is an Art Deco 1931.
Right.
And they're out there, and her husband, who I'd never met, Ray, was a realtor at the time.
Okay.
And he says, "Boy, Chuck, you seem like a go-getter. What's your big plans?" And I said, if I could find another theater, I could have two theaters, and I could book like the Marshall Tucker Band for two shows at two different dates at two different locations, because it's their tour. It could be here in May and here in November. It doesn't matter. It's just part of their big tour. And if I could get them for two dates, I can get them a little cheaper.
Right.
I could lower my ticket prices, because small towns, they don't have the economic base that big metropolitan areas do.
Right.
So I'm always working to lower the ticket prices and things. And he goes, "God, it's funny you mentioned that, because there's a town a couple towns over. It's called the Dalles.
Yeah.
And the city owns a theater there that they've owned for 8 or 10 years. They don't know what to do with it.
Right.
They've had it for sale for 8 years. Haven't got any action. They've leased it a couple times, had some problems. It's sitting empty. It's dark for a decade.
Yes.
You ought to call the mayor." I did.
Yeah.
Here we are.
Oh my gosh.
Now that trip.
Would that have been Steve Lawrence?
It was Steve Lawrence. And, Steve was very, he really had great vision, because when he was mayor for those several terms, he really worked with the city to buy up some of the historic buildings.
Yeah,
in
that's
town.
probably when Tony's Down and Country and some of those other facilities got.
The old Elks building, which is now the neon sign.
Yeah, right.
And Tony's building and the rec center.
Yes.
The old bowling alley next door. Those buildings.
Essentially almost your whole block.
Literally, 3/4 of that block.
Right.
The blue building, they used to call it, that's behind me on Washington and First. All those were historic buildings that he said, "Well, the town has a little money. Google it. Come in. Why don't we buy these buildings as an investment into our history?"
Yeah.
Ours being the town. And very clever. He bought those, and he says, We'll hang on to them, and sooner or later, the right people will come along.
Right, but you're few and far between. I think this is something I really need to point out, that somebody who has the experience like you do, and in working with an historic theater. I mean, there's not a lot of you out there.
There aren't.
Right, and so interesting. So okay.
So there aren't a lot of us, and that was why the building had failed in its attempts to regenerate itself. There was a nonprofit organization that was in there for 5 or 8 years, and to this day, I have to thank them and Gail, who headed that board of nonprofit.
Yeah,
because if it wasn't for them, the theater wouldn't be here today.
They kept it alive. They kept it
alive, and eventually. It was exactly going back to what you said, that you need the right people to run it. So their board was composed of lawyers and accountants and business owners and insurance people and office managers. There wasn't any theater managers in that group.
Right.
And running a theater is a kind of a quirky, different kind of business.
Absolutely.
I hate to say it, but, like a majority of the people I deal with they get up at 2 or 3 o'clock in the afternoon. They don't know what a 9-to-5 job is.
You're not talking about musicians, are you?
Maybe I am. Their responsibility level is ours is here, theirs is here, and wake me up when it's time to go on stage type of thing. Maybe they imbibe in alcohol and drugs and things. These are the kind of people I deal with.
Right.
It is not your run-of-the-mill
that you try to
people.
manage.
It's like stuffing 10 cats in a bag. It really is, man.
It sounds like it.
It is. And you just have to garnish that experience through the years. And I had it, and we still took over 3 years to convince the city we were the right people to buy the Granada. They were still like, the council was like going, we don't know who this guy is. Oh, from Chicago. Yuck. We don't know. He didn't grow up here. His wife's not from here, although she had lived in Portland for over 20 years.
Hi, Tom.
Hey, Robin, how's it going this morning?
Really good. I'd love to tell you how the different ways you can read CCC News and see the great information we've got.
Yeah, right. I'm pretty familiar with the CC News website, of course, and that's our number one kind of hub for getting all the general information free at no cost to folks here in the community, the Columbia Gorge, and that's at CCCnews.com. But what other offerings do we have?
Well, you can read it both in English and Spanish on the website. So if you stand Spanish as your first language or your second, you could practice your Spanish in there. We also have we call a progressive web app. So it's an app, but it uses Safari or Chrome to use to create an app on your phone. So it's not actually a bunch of software, and it keeps your data safe by default as well. So you can find the link for that on our homepage.
Excellent. Yeah, and I know you're really proud of our podcast. Tell folks how they can get our podcast.
Yeah, so we post our podcast on YouTube, Spotify, Amazon Music, and iHeartRadio. And so whatever your platform, if it's one of those four things, hit the subscribe and hit the notifications, because when we put podcasts up, you'll be notified that we've got something new to watch.
Yeah. And what if I just want to get some news every Saturday and Sunday or something, and I don't want to go to all that hassle?
This is a really good question. Obviously, we don't want to bombard people with way too many emails, but we have a once-a-week roundup with all the greatest things that happen in the week, all the most interesting stories, and we send that out on Saturday because we just want it's Saturday, comes out first thing Saturday morning, and so you get that roundup of what's going on in your community in the week. And people really like that. We also have one on Sunday. We really want to support the nonprofits and the other kind of not-for-profit type organizations in our community. And so all the stuff that we write about them in the week, we post on Sunday in there too. So if you're into community philanthropy and community itself, it's a really good newsletter just for that little piece.
And it's super easy. You just go to the website. There's a location there that you can just put your email address in, and you're going to be signed up, and you'll start receiving it.
Absolutely. And it's all free, absolutely, 100% free. And if you do want to support us and subscribe, you're welcome to. But you actually we don't offer the subscribers any more than the free users, because news is the most valuable when we're all reading it. And once we have a really good perspective of what's going on, then we can have a good discussion.
And what if I just kind of like visual media? Does CCC News do anything for visual media?
Yeah, we have a YouTube channel. So the journalists are constantly putting podcasts, but also little videos and little quips up on the YouTube channel. So if you want to see it in 3 dimensions and see that kind of video side of things, then the YouTube channel is also a good place. Hit subscribe and hit the notification there so you'll be aware, because we put things like fire up there, and when we're dealing with emergency management, we're putting that stuff up there too.
Very good.
Great.
Wow. Well, there's a lot of different ways to get CCC News.
Great question, Tom. Thanks so much for asking.
You bet. So let me back that up a little bit. Yeah. So maybe you first kind of got the idea of the theater about 2014.
Yes.
And then it wasn't until 2017 or so that you actually came into ownership. Let me ask you another question real quick, too, because it's one thing to go into a business that's established, that has a good run of events and acts and that kind of thing, I would guess. Like any business, if you already have a steady customer base, it's much different than starting kind of from scratch, which you were. And again, not from the Dalles, from, you've been in Illinois, Waseca, Illinois, running a theater there.
A move in.
Yeah. And I understand the volume thing. It makes sense. Hey, if I can book a band here, I could get them there. And that all makes sense.
I still do that.
But still, it's like a huge leap of faith.
It was.
To come in here and to build this literally from the ground up, right? And
true.
Yeah. I mean, so what kind of went in? Can you tell me a little bit about your and Deborah's decision process when you guys said, yeah, let's go for it?
I really have to hand it to Deborah. She's a brilliant woman and tireless worker, and kind of said, well, we have one theater and we've really made a success out of it in a small town of 5,500 people. huge names coming into that little town.
Yeah.
And who am I to argue with your business prowess? And okay, Chuck. And so we flew out here to take a look at the building, and Jim from the city had the keys and opened it up for us. And he still to this day, every once in a while, stops in and says, Chuck, that first day when you two arrived and we just for a look-see.
Yeah.
And I opened the door, and we went in, and we sat down, and you were walking around doing with your theater eye, looking at things, and, the speakers had got to go here. They're in the wrong place now. Get these curtains off the wall. And I need some acoustic paint, non-reflective. So I'm looking at it from a physics standpoint and a production standpoint. And he said, I turned around and Deborah was sitting in the back row of the theater chairs, furthest from the stage, and she had a tear in her eye. This is what Jim's telling me. And I went up to her to make sure she was okay. Maybe there was allergies in the room or dust was getting to her or something. And I said, is everything okay? And he said, with a little tear in her eye and a little tremor in her voice, she said, it's just so much more beautiful than I would have guessed. And she was seeing the bones because it wasn't beautiful.
Right.
It needed everything.
Yeah.
But she knew.
Yeah.
She knew. She's very artistic, and she knew. And once we saw that was it. Now, we have literally restored every square inch of the theater. And I mean that literally. Every square inch. The ceilings, the floors, the walls, the seats, the stage, the sound, the electric, the HVAC systems, the outside of the building, the marquee, the windows, the doors, the plumbing. Everything has been modernized, upgraded, converted to a better functioning venue for the types of presentations we do.
Yeah.
And we're there now, but we're not done. As you noticed and commented on, our latest endeavor was the upgrade of the marquee.
Yeah.
Our digital marquee,
Which is great because the marquee's both sides, you catch it driving down or across the street.
Couldn't be better.
Yeah.
Absolutely couldn't be better.
Yeah, and it's excellent at promoting your next set of shows and community events. I'm trying to think of what I saw. There was a community event on there.
Well, we have the civic shows up there. We have their fundraiser.
Yeah.
We have their haunted house coming up. I had the pig bowl, which was a cancer benefit for a family.
Yeah, right.
That was up there. We have our library movies in association with the library.
Yeah.
They're up there. And I mean, we've only had it a few weeks. We're just getting rolling on that, you know?
We were hoping to get a headline or two on there.
I think you can,
Hey, Josh, did you know that we are funded by our readers in large part?
I did know that, but please tell me more.
Yeah, it's our local readers here that make it possible for us to go out and gather news on local businesses and important issues in our community. And so we need people to support local news. Did you know you can make a difference in our community's economy and culture by supporting local journalism? I bet you did. But maybe you out there don't. And so you should visit our Support Us page at CCCNews.com to subscribe to a monthly donation to keep news local and start making a difference in our community today. Again, that's CCCNews.com.
And remember, CCC News is available for everyone and funded by readers.
So, Tom, I got to tell you, I'm the theater owner.
Right.
I'm the theater guy. It's my baby. Just like your home, your car, your business, those are your things. Those are your pet projects that you live and die for. So I live and die for the theater. And something happens, I'm the guy who does it. If a microphone breaks during a show or a stand breaks, a cord comes up, I'm the guy who quickly runs up on stage and switches that over. If there's plumbing problems because we have 200 people flushing at the same time, okay, well, things happen. I'm the guy with the bucket and a mop. Okay, I'm cleaning up. That's my baby. I'm happy to do that.
Yeah.
What I never was happy doing was that marquee, changing those letters, putting that name up. It's 100 degrees outside. It's raining outside. I have 4 lines. The top line finishes. I have to take off all the letters, move them all up a line, add the next show on the bottom of it.
Yeah.
I just always felt like I have such better things to do than spinning my wheels.
Yeah.
I couldn't get kids to do it. I just couldn't.
Did you have that suction cup and the long handle?
Yes, that's exactly what I had. And if you look at the historic pictures of the Granada, before they had the double track, top and bottom with the suction cup, you'd slide the letter up the top track, you'd release the suction cup, and it would drop down into the bottom track, and there'd be. But before they had that, like in the 40s and 50s, people think the marquee that I just changed is the original marquee. It is not.
All right.
It has been through many changes through the years. In fact, seems like in retrospect, maybe every 20 years that marquee has changed.
Yeah.
So this is just the next evolutionary step. Yeah,
That's right.
And in the 50s, there's pictures, you can look them up on the internet, where there's a guy with 2 A-frame ladders, one on left, one on right side of the marquee with a big plank, 12 inches wide, bouncing up and down.
Yeah.
And he's there and he's hanging, because back then the letters had hooks on the back and there was a wire on the marquee, and you would just hang the letters on there. Well, then it changed, and it had the suction cup. Oh, I hated doing that. I just hated doing that.
I'm glad you've been relieved of that obligation.
I'll tell you, Tom, when I was doing movies, or when I was doing a movie name changes on the marquee, I would look for movies with the shortest name.
Titles. Yeah. Like It.
I showed it. The Thing, the 50s, James Whitmore classic, Them. I mean, those were my favorites. But The Day the Earth Stood Still, oh my God, I'm dying here. How to Marry a Millionaire, it's too many letters. I just want 5 or 6. So now Deborah sits at her little computer, tick, 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 peck, 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 and there it is.
Nice.
It's up. Yeah.
Wonderful.
Send a JPEG, we put it up. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, and like your marquee that's always changing, I've found, like I said, you're a tenacious person, you and Deborah both, in gathering different, not just acts, but community events and that kind of thing. And can you tell us a little bit about, I don't know if it's been a trial and error process, or you just knew there's like, this is a lead pipe deal, I know this act will work in this town. Can you tell me a little bit about selecting who comes to the Dalles, and then what's kind of worked and what maybe hasn't?
I wish I knew.
It's like advertising.
I wish I knew,
Yeah.
I heard a thing about advertising the other day, and it wasn't P.T. Barnum, but someone of the 1900s, mega well-known businessman with dry goods and things. And he goes, half the advertising that I do really is successful, and the other half is really non-existent. I don't get any response from that. Yeah. So I have half that's really positive and half that's really neutral. The trouble is, I don't know which half. I can't figure out which half to go with. And I'll have an act that I just booked a month ago. We had a dinner theater.
Yeah.
And I thought, the community would love a dinner theater.
Right.
We did a filet mignon and a shrimp, a surf and turf dinner. And I had Liberace and Liza Minnelli tribute act. Okay. And they are some of the finest performers I have ever worked with. I'm telling you, man.
Yeah.
They both had those characters, that talent, down to a T, to the letter. I mean, he moved like Liberace. He played Rachmaninoff. He was a virtuoso on keyboard. She had Liza's laugh, the way she threw her head back.
Yeah.
I mean, they couldn't have been better. I said, here is a show that the community is just going to do backflips over. I brought in Isabella. She's an opera singer out of Portland. She was going to open the show with one song of the Tchaikovsky aria from Romeo and Juliet.
Yeah.
Her accompanist on keyboard was just brilliant.
Yeah.
They set the tone that this is going to be a special night.
Right.
I had the Harmony of the Gorge, the gal chorus, female chorus, barbershop group. And they did 3 or 4 songs. There was 20, 25 of them. It was just a great night. And then Liberace and Liza Minnelli. We did not have a big turnout. I was sure.
You sure that would be the one?
I knew it was going to be big. I didn't think it'd be huge. I knew it wouldn't be sold out.
Right.
But I thought, we'll have a really good crowd here. Well, we had a pretty soft crowd.
Yeah.
I was in the black. I mean, financially, I try not to look at the dollars and cents from each show.
Right.
Because
that drive you crazy.
You get depressed with one. You're overjoyed with another.
Right.
Just at the end of the year, did I end up in the black? Did I pay my bills? Did we make a little money?
Yeah.
This was one that was, I made a little money, but I was sure it was going to be a big, strong show, and it wasn't. So some of the shows that I think are going to be really big, they are.
Yeah.
Some not so much.
Yeah.
And here's another.
Tell me about one that surprised you, where you got, maybe it'll. I don't know if this will work or not.
Let me think. One that surprised me.
Yeah.
The John Caparulo show. Now that was a comedy show. We had earlier this year, and I've worked with John before, and he's hilarious, and he's not a nasty comic. He says a little blue word here and there, but he does his show doesn't. His show's son doesn't rise and set on vulgar and dirty and blue talk. He throws in just a little, but all in all, absolutely hilarious from daily life, things that affect me and you. That we go through, taking the kids to school, the car broke down. I got up late, the alarm didn't go off. I mean, he came in with such great things, and I've worked with him before, so as a courtesy, I said, I don't know how you're going to go over here because I just don't have a feel for comedy in town.
Yeah.
And he goes, Chuck, we love you guys. And we played the Watseka Theater. And you dedicated part of the lobby with my picture up there to this day, 20 years later. And he goes, anything you need. And so he comes down, he gives me a good price. And I thought, if we can just get 60, 75 people in here. I'm a happy guy.
Yeah, okay.
He's paid. I made a little bit. We sold some dinners, had a couple cocktails, and soda pops sold. Oh, no. Huge. It was huge. Yeah, hundreds of people. So
what is the capacity of the theater?
Well, we have 299. So say 300 people on the main floor.
Yeah.
And I have the capability of another 140 in the balcony.
Yeah. Okay.
Now the balcony has some caveats with it because.
But going back to the John Capriella show, so you filled 2/3 of that. The first floor or something like and that's a gang. That's a great night.
It was over a couple hundred people.
Okay,
so it was just 100 people in the main floor. It feels full.
Yeah, it's that's interesting because I don't understand. Thank you for sharing some of the numbers with us because that's what us as outsiders looking in at how did Chuck and Deborah do this. Well, that kind of helps us understand it. I was talking with Alan Schwartz the other day. The Dalles Overground is doing a series of horror films this year, month for October, of course. Yeah. And you guys did the Rocky
Spooktober.
Yeah, Spooktober. And you guys are you did the Rocky Horror Mountain.
We did.
No, Rocky Mountain.
The Rocky Horror Picture Show.
Sorry, Rocky Mountain.
Yeah, from the 70s.
Oh my God. Anyways. But that was on Saturday night, right?
It was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Alan was really excited. It's like we got 80 people and it was.
We had 100.
100? Okay.
Yeah. And by the time it was said and done, I think we had 101.
And that was what, $10 a head or something like that. And and a fundraiser for the Overground. So that's really
and notoriety
cool.
too.
And notoriety,
Just to get the word out has a value to it.
Absolutely.
A lot of people had never heard of Overground.
Right. Which
Overground.
is a 501c3. It's a nonprofit group of local folks here who are trying to bring music to the Dalles, just music and culture, if you will. So.
And his nonprofit is really, he's a benefactor to people that are in need, regardless of what that need is. His organization, his nonprofit is there to help people, many different needs.
Yeah.
And you can't help people. You can't get supporters if they don't know you, if they don't know of you, if they haven't heard of you. So this was a great way to introduce his endeavors to the community on a really big front page, main stage approach, and it did. It worked out really well. And our friend Chris Herndon was decorating our ticket booth out front. We now have an encased webbed mummy in the ticket booth, and some vegetation growing over her, and spiders crawling around, and green lights in there and stuff, because we really don't use the ticket booth. It's kind of passé now. I keep it from a historical standpoint, but the movies are great. A great addition.
But you can swing from a community event like that, which helps support additional culture, music to town, all the way over to I'm trying to think. Doggone it! It was he does a show out of Puyallup. He used to do the show. It's a radio show. And you had him here a while back.
Yeah, George Norrie.
George Norrie, right. With, what's the name of the show? I'm terrible.
Coast to Coast
Coast
AM.
to Coast AM, which I used to listen to on a speaker under my pillow when I couldn't sleep at night.
Too.
It would always freak me out. I'd wake up, that thing would still be going.
Aliens and pyramids and vitamins.
Yes.
I used to listen when it was 1988 or so, when Art Bell still had the show.
Yes, that's who started it.
That is a show that is syndicated in over 750 stations.
Yeah.
So you can literally go
Huge
to
reach.
any city in America at
hear that
midnight,
show.
turn the radio dial, find his show.
Huh. Yeah.
Any city in the country.
That's crazy.
I mean, he had over 240 million listeners a month.
Right.
So when we were able to land and bring his show to the community, part of my endeavors are tourism. I believe in using other people's money to improve our community. So the more people that come into town and spend their money, the less our taxes are, the better our beautification committee can function. All those types of things are tied in with what I feel is a 1 or 2 day tourist package. And every time we had that show, and we've had it several times now, they would start advertising the Granada Theater's Coast to Coast show with George Norrie 7 months in advance.
Wow.
Now, he had 240 plus million listeners a month.
Yeah.
Extrapolate those numbers.
Right.
And every time they mentioned our show, it was Coast to Coast AM is coming to the historic Granada Theater, ding, in the beautiful town of the Dalles, Oregon, ding, ding. All those things were building tourism for us, for our community, for our businesses, for the Granada. Yes, all is true. But when you go back and when you mentioned, how do you know which acts to book? Well, the first time they came in like 4 or 5 years ago, we were sold out to capacity. I've only had to open the balcony 2 or 3 times. Wow.
Those tickets were not cheap either, Chuck. I can remember that.
They weren't.
And you sold it. That's awesome.
We sold it, and that was his show. He rented the theater from me. So he set the ticket price. The money went to him. I got the rent. I was a happy camper.
Okay.
And we had an agreement with the fire department that our capacity is 299.
Yes. Okay.
However, the fire marshal was very good. I've worked with everyone we've had.
Is that Jay Wood back then?
Yes, it was Jay.
Yeah. That's a great guy.
He wrote my capacity code and everything. But he says, Chuck, maybe you'll get Dolly Parton someday or something, and you'll need more than 300 seats. And you have the balcony sitting up there empty. So if you exceed your capacity please tell us. Hire 2 fire spotters that sit in the balcony and look for smoke. Hire extra ushers so we have safely assisting people out.
Yep.
And for a once-in-a-while type of thing, you can exceed your 299. Well, Coast to Coast was one of those rare shows that we exceeded it. But several years after that, they came back. It was a whole different numbers.
Yeah.
We had half of what we had the first
Interesting.
time. And, that's a live show, kind of a Johnny Carson show where George is Johnny Carson. He's the MC. He sits at the couch and the table and the desk. Has a little band, just like the old Tonight Show.
Okay.
And one guest comes out and talks his forte and then leaves, and another guest comes out. So maybe the numbers were off because those guests weren't as strong a draw or as well known as the first batch of guests we had years prior. So who knows?
Yeah.
I mean, who knows? Coast to Coast felt they had strong guests for that night, but we didn't have the numbers.
Yeah.
What was the economy like? We're just coming out of COVID, and people now have their home television studio theater surround sounds in the home. They don't go out as much. The climate of crowd-related entertainment has changed in America. All these factors, if you can figure out how those factors work and how I can apply them successfully, please let me know.
Chuck,
Because I don't know. I don't know.
And if you could reciprocate and tell me the key to local news and doing it in this modern, in these new dynamics, I would appreciate that as well.
Well, maybe we'll trade.
They're puzzles, man.
They are.
Puzzles.
They really are.
Hey,
Tell me about advertising at CCC News.
all right. We've been on a real roll lately. We're up to 110,000 unique readers this month.
That's insane.
It's insane. And these are all people that are customers for our local readers in the community.
That's huge.
Yeah, so we do advertisements, digital advertisements that are rotated through all of our stories. Think of it like this. Every time we have a great headline rolling out there and people are reading the story, your advertisement can be right next to it.
That's awesome. How many views does advertisers get every month?
Well, they're averaging somewhere between 50 and 60,000 per month.
Ooh, if I was to buy 60,000 impressions somewhere else, that might be like really expensive. Is that right?
It would be, but thank goodness we're CCC News and we're offering people great value. We can get advertising going for folks for $300 month to month. But if you're willing to go a little bit longer, say a 6-month or a 12-month contract, we can get those prices down to $250 a month.
That's amazing. Great. How can people get in touch?
Oh, well, easy. You just contact me, Tom, at CCCnews.com. Again, that's Tom at CCCnews.com. Or you can reach me at 541-980-2756.
I'm going to tell all my friends.
Right on. Hit. Hey, and earlier, I kind of digress here a little bit from Max, but music. You grew up on the south side of Chicago. You were telling me a little bit earlier that you were a musician, a trained musician at first, and you were what was the genre of music that you played in, and you had.
I'm a blue jazzer.
A blue jazzer, which I'd never heard the blue jazzer before.
Yeah, baby, I'm the blue jazzer, man. So I toured with a lot of blues musicians, played with a lot of jazz musicians. One of my early teachers was Frank Derrick. He was an alto sax performer, arranger with Duke Ellington in the 30s and 40s.
Yeah.
And I had him late in his life, early in my life.
Right.
His son, Frank Derrick III,
Yeah.
drummer for, I think, the Palm Beach Symphony nowadays. That was my background. Played with a lot of people.
Wow.
Have sat in with Pure Prairie League.
Oh, my gosh.
The Bellamy Brothers, toured with Kenny Rogers, was with Canned Heat, and a lot of names.
Oh my goodness!
I was a degreed musician and band director for a while.
And so, and that career was a decade, 2 decades. How long did you do that, Chuck?
To be honest with you, I played my first professional paying job when I was 12 years old.
Oh, wow.
I joined the union when I was 15. I played and shared the dressing room with and opened for The Who in their first American tour. I mean, it was the American tour that people were like going, the Who? Who? Who are the Who? Who are they?
Those guys?
Yeah, man. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, and that was when Keith Moon was alive.
Oh my gosh!
So I'm playing a state fair with The Who.
Right.
I'm 15 or 16 years old.
What album were they on, or do you remember?
It was their first tour.
It was their first tour.
Yeah, their very first tour. Wow. And one of the guys in the band came up to me because I had left the stage.
Yeah.
And he said, "Chuck, you got to come up here." They called me Charlie back then. Charlie, you got to come. You got to come up here. The show's almost over. I want you to see what these guys are about. And I'm like going, well, what's the big deal? You know, their encore song. And all of a sudden, Peter Townsend takes his guitar and kaboom!
Oh,
and he smashes Keith Moon's drum kit, and the drum goes flying, and the neck snaps off the guitar. And I mean, I'm just a kid, and I'm like, oh my God, what are these guys doing? Oh, I mean, I didn't know about it. I didn't expect it.
Yeah.
The Who.
Yeah. Oh, my God. Wow.
But, at that time, 15, 16, 17 years old.
What, that's late 60s?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was played with The Who, played with the Association.
Oh, my God.
Sam the Sham and the Pharaohs, if you remember Wooly Bully and Little Red Riding Hood.
Yeah, I
those
love
were
that
great
song.
songs. He's still touring.
Is he?
Yeah, and started out and went to college, got my degree in music and performance and education, was a band director. And
oh my God. So that probably gave you a lot of connections. I mean, you kind of grew up in showbiz. It kind of sounds like to me, to some degree. Were your parents?
I kind of did.
Were your parents musicians, or were they in the industry? Or?
No. God, Mom,
you fell far from the tree.
Way far. My dad, bless his heart. Dad was born in Spain. He was a Basque, and it was right at the time of the Franco Civil War in Spain. And, of course, Franco was slaughtering all the Basques and everything. So my dad and his family, he was an only child, his mom and dad and aunts and uncles and cousins, they escaped Spain. My dad came to America, enrolled in Berkeley. Berkeley.
Yeah.
Couldn't speak English. Signs up to go to college.
Yeah.
Can't speak the language.
Wow.
Learns English, learns his classes, graduates with a degree in civil engineering.
Oh, my God.
A young man, works on the Golden Gate Bridge as they're building it.
Really?
That was my dad. That was my dad. My mom, she was... her mother, my grandmother, had come from Lithuania, and that was during the Tsar era, the Red Revolution in Russia, and Lithuania was a satellite country there.
Yeah.
My grandfather escaped World War I by coming to America. They met in Chicago and married, and the rest was history and stuff. But no, he was a hardworking guy. She was a farm gal.
Yeah.
They had a big farm that we grew up on.
You seem really well adjusted. Were they okay with you going into entertainment?
I'm telling you, my parents were such sweet people.
Yeah.
All they cared about was that I was happy and somewhat successful.
Yeah.
They never said, "Chuck, you got to have $1 million."
They just didn't want you to struggle too hard.
They didn't want me to struggle. They wanted me to be happy.
Oh, fantastic.
Happy.
How cool.
I never heard my dad raise his voice. I never heard him say a swear word in my entire life, in his entire life. They were very down-to-earth, calm people. Yeah.
Wow, that's fascinating. CCC News offers ads for budgets of any size, ranging from mom and pops just starting out to a well-established business with decades of work in our area. Get in front of our 100,000 unique readers every month with your goods and service at just the time they are looking for your help. We can tailor your advertising to suit you and your budget to increase your business while not breaking the bank. Contact me, Tom Peterson, at tom@cccnews.com to see what works for you, or call me at 541 541-980-2756. Again, that's 541-980-2756. CCCnews.com, working for you 24/7, all local, all the time in the Mid-Columbia. I was thinking about, okay, so you came up to the musicianship, and then the theater in Illinois. How did you make that transition from musician, and maybe I'm overstepping some other steps here, but from musician
Really?
to theater owner and a showman, essentially, right? Like you're kind of running the show and bringing the acts together. So how did that happen?
Well, I had taken a job working for the mayor's office of special events in Chicago, and my little home, my home, I still have it. I've owned it 50 years out there. My theater, that's about 100 miles from Chicago. Just
Right.
like the Dalles is about 80, 90, 100 miles from Portland, depending where.
Okay.
And so I took a job with the mayor's office of special events in Chicago, and we produced the Jazz Festival, the world's largest free jazz festival, 150,000 people. It was like Woodstock, the world's largest blues fest. I was instrumental in the establishing of those early blues festivals, the very first one, the folk fest, the Latin fest, the gospel fest, the neighborhood festivals. So there was my college education really, for
on-the-job
stage
training.
production. And I really took that job to make myself a better musician, because I felt if I could learn the technical language, I could communicate my needs as a musician more accurately to the tech companies and the stage crews and things of what I needed or what I wasn't getting or what I didn't like or what adjustments should be made or placements, stage placement, set design, all those types of things. I felt working these festivals and on stage with literally the greatest living musicians of that era in all genres of music, all genres, from Stevie Wonder to Dizzy Gillespie, from Benny Goodman to Steppenwolf. I mean, it was just because the city of Chicago had a big budget.
Right.
Yeah, they could hire anyone they wanted. Chuck Berry, Aretha Franklin. Otis Clay, and I ended up touring with Otis Clay, but that was my background in stage. My mom's kid sister, my Aunt Linda, Annie used to say that, "Oh, Chucky, he's been on stage since he was 2 years old." You know, I think it was just because I'm a little more outward with my personality, and I did that. But while I was living in Watseka, there was I still to this day have an office building with an apartment on the second floor. You know, like they did in 1900. People had their business on the first floor, lived on the second floor. Oh, God, it's great.
Yeah.
I mean, you're
easy to get to
30
work.
seconds to work. You know?
Right.
So 75 feet down the street was the Watseka Theater that had been closed for 20 years. The windows were broken, hundreds of dead pigeons.
Oh, okay.
And,
so it had gone into disrepair.
It had.
Okay.
Yeah. And as a matter of fact, 20 years prior, I was negotiating with the owner to buy it, and the day we were going to sign the papers, he died.
Oh, wow.
So, oh well.
Yeah.
Oh well.
Yeah. So then the family
sold it, probate,
right. All that
dodging
gets
probate,
messy.
God knows what.
Yeah.
20 years go by, a couple owners go by, and I end up contacting the owner because I told my wife, I said, "Deb, let's buy the Watseka Theater because I can fix it up.
Yeah.
I can flip it.
Right.
I can make it nice."
Okay, so you were looking for short term.
I was looking short term.
Yeah.
But I know theater.
Right.
So I know how to make this viable.
Right.
And I also know smoke and mirrors. I don't have to build a brick wall.
Yeah.
I can hang a curtain in front of it, that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So it's because it's a theater, I have some latitude as far as spending, or in my case, not spending.
Yeah.
And it was just a magical building. I mean, the more I worked in there, the more I said, there's absolutely no way I could ever sell this place.
Yeah.
We're just going to have to start doing shows in it. Well, I know how to do shows. Okay, let's start doing shows.
Yeah.
And, to this day, we still have it.
Yeah.
And some of the greatest acts that have ever come from the stage and in America have played the Little Watsika Theater.
Yeah.
It's unreal.
Yeah.
We like to call it the biggest little theater in America. And that's the same with the Granada.
Yeah, that's fascinating. I think we were chatting one time, and you were telling me about some bands that were kind of cutting their teeth that came through there. Was REM maybe one? I can't remember.
REO.
REO Speedwagon.
Yes, they used to rehearse down the street from the Watsika Theater.
You can tune a fish, but you can't tune a
can.
What is that title? No, it's you can tune a guitar, but you can't tune a
fish.
Yeah, I screwed it up.
Yeah.
Sorry.
They were right down. They just had an anniversary farewell concert in Champaign-Urbana, which was the University of Illinois. It's about 50 miles from my theater there. And
my favorite
they were
REO Speedwagon song is "Riding the Storm Out."
Yeah. They were monsters.
Yeah.
They used to rehearse in the Spice Factory. That's two or three blocks from the Watsika Theater.
Okay.
And it was a little family business, had this big warehouse, and they would import giant pallets and truckloads of allspice and paprika, and then they'd break it down into little packages. And, the Watsika Spice Factory. That was big. But they had a loading dock that they would let REO practice on and stuff. Yeah.
Wow, fascinating. Any other memorable show? I mean, you were saying, like some of the greatest shows, in the littlest theater kind of thing. Tell me some more. You got some other?
The biggest little theater in America.
Yeah.
We also, one of our other logos is your front row to the stars.
Yeah.
Because the Watsika Theater, that's only 13 rows.
Right.
So if you're in the back seat, you're still
in the
only
front row close to.
Yeah, and I've worked the Chicago Theater, where maybe some of your viewers and listeners know the Chicago Theater. It is so iconic, visually iconic, and historically in Chicago, its front row. There's the stage, and then there's a big orchestra pit, and then there's a big fire exit of 10 feet, and then there's the first row.
Yeah.
Well, our back row in Watsika is closer to the stage than the Chicago Theater's front row. So figure that out. But I'll have to say one of the... Crystal Gale was a great performer that we had there. Riders in the Sky are just incredible musicians that have worked and played both our theaters close to a dozen times.
Yeah.
Ronnie Millsap. Oh my gosh, Ronnie Millsap. And one of the shows, he brought a slideshow in of his childhood and talked about being raised by his grandparents. And here's my granddad, and and they're showing a slideshow behind him while he's talking about growing up and going to the Louis Braille School for the Blind, which has now been renamed the Ronnie Millsap School of the Blind, and learning Braille. And his was an incredible show. Marty Stewart is probably the finest musician. Ronnie Millsap was a performer, an incredible pianist, got kicked out of his high school band, by the way, for playing rock and roll instead of sticking to the charts. He's a great performer and great songwriter and a wonderful entertainer, but Marty Stewart is... And I've had Ricky Skaggs and... others, but Marty Stewart is probably in the top 2, maybe 3 musicians that we've ever had. The other great that I had was Leon Russell.
Yeah.
I mean, here's 150 people sitting in front of Leon Russell, and he's singing, Tightrope and Carnival and his songs. Johnny Winter was an incredible musician.
Yeah, right.
The Bellamy Brothers were something. Modern music, Candlebox, Buck Cherry, Skid Row.
Okay, 80s,
yeah. If you like blues, Bobby. Bobby Rush, and Canned Heat.
Yep.
Canned Heat.
Well, you had Canned Heat here.
Canned Heat. Can you believe it?
Yeah.
I mean, they were at Woodstock.
Right.
They were at Woodstock. And speaking of Woodstock, I got to throw a bone out to our good friend Bobby Torres. Bobby Torres is a Latin percussionist in Portland, and he's played the Granada several times. And when Deborah was a dentist, he was one of her patients, and that's how I learned about and got to know Bobby. But Bobby was in Santana's band as a kid, playing Woodstock. Had no idea what Woodstock was or anything, and now Bobby from Woodstock has played the Granada. And I played with Santana when I was in school in Arizona, and we have just had.
Did you open for him, or would you?
No, I played with him.
You did?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
That was in Tucson. Yeah. I was a kid then too.
Yeah. And that's when you were playing sax.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think I was 17 when I did that.
Oh, that's heady stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
His first album, the one with the lion on the front. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Uh-huh.
Oh my goodness.
And Evil Ways. I played flute on that one. Yeah.
Oh my God.
A lot of people come and go, and some of the nicest people. Carlene Carter, Johnny Cash's daughter. I mean, Carlene Carter, when she played the Granada, she was just a lovely person. She was absolutely adorable. What a dear, sweet woman she is. Yeah. Wow. And I can just go on by telling you how many great musicians as people have been through our theaters. Now,
nice.
They're not all that way.
No, I'm sure not.
I get an edgy guy now and then. Some of the rockers are a little edgier, and some of the country guys are edgy too. Don't think they're.
Do you have to babysit or anything like that, or do they have babysitters?
They're just more edgy in their requests and needs and demands. Yeah, some guys will say to you, do you know? Could maybe we get a few extra bottles of water on the stage or something in case we need them? Or maybe you have a fan backstage you could put on the drummer. He's kind of hot. Or other guys might go, "Where's that water?"
Okay. A little more demanding.
It's a little more demanding for some people. But that's individuals' personality.
Yeah, right.
You're an easygoing guy, but not everyone's an easygoing guy on that
especially
side of the
people,
microphone.
I would guess a lot of musicians who are really intent on getting the best absolute sound. They're perfectionists, right?
Oh, they're taskmasters.
And taskmasters. Yeah. And a lot of times that can bleed over into how they are socially. Yeah. And it's sometimes not that pleasant.
I heard a story from the keyboard player for Prince.
Yeah.
And he plays the riff. They're doing rehearsal, and Prince is saying, "Let's hear that riff." And he plays the riff. And Prince says, "Well, I think I want it this way."
Yeah.
And actually changed the way he was playing it. Okay, so he played it a little different. And he goes, "You're not going to play that sitting down, are you? You're going to stand up and play that, aren't you?" I was going to sit down, but okay, I'll stand up. You're not going to dress like that, are you? You're going to have. So the guy's telling the story, and he goes, "So he's got me standing up. He's got me playing a different riff, not my music, his music. He's got me dressing different." And he goes, "Well, you're standing up. You might as well have a little dance move while you're playing the organ." And he's got me playing a different style, dressing different. And now he's got me dancing at the organ. So it just depends on the musician.
Right.
When I have put my own bands together in the past, I have liked diversity.
Yeah.
I wanted a blues drummer, a rock guitarist, a jazz organist. I really wanted a mixture of all those different styles together for my blue bop quintet and things like that. Yeah. Huh. So it just depends. I mean, musicians are as individual as people are.
Yeah. Right.
Some are easier to work with than others. That's all.
Yeah. Well, in orchestrating things, it's not an easy task to come up with something new and vibrant and fun to listen to. Hey, if you're enjoying today's podcast with What's Up the Dalles, hey, please take a moment and go down and like, share, and subscribe. Thank you for watching. Another story that we talked about earlier this year is that you and Deborah actually got married here in the Dalles. Am I correct?
You know, we came into town, and the newspapers and the radio and television from Portland, everyone's interviewing us.
Yeah.
And they're all talking, and people are coming in because when I was restoring the theater, I kept the front doors open. And I sat there and kind of directed my 2 or 3 guys.
Yeah.
And so, because people were constantly bugging me to come in and see the theater, what's going on in here, but everyone was edgy.
Yeah. Yeah.
Who is this guy?
New guy. Who's the new guy? Yeah.
We didn't go to school with him. Mm-hmm. He didn't graduate from our grade school.
Right.
We don't know what kind of guy he is, his humanity, his politics, his religions. We don't know anything about him. He didn't even live near us. So there was this huge learning curve that Deborah and I really felt. And she and I had lived together. Okay, Mom, don't listen to this. Okay. She and I had lived together for 33 years.
Oh, my goodness.
33 years.
Yeah.
And we said to ourselves, what better way to tell the community that we are absolutely dug in, part of this town, please accept us. What better way than to get married on stage opening night? So our opening night was a vaudeville show that I had been given a program from the 1929 opening night. And I had that program, and the cover art hangs in our theater now. I duplicated that.
Yeah.
And the program was a vaudeville show. So we did a vaudeville show opening night, and the vaudeville show we always advertised with a surprise grand finale.
Yes.
And reporters would go, hey, that's great, man. And put the mic in my face and say, so what's that finale? And I said, oh, let me tell you, you missed it the first time. It's a surprise grand finale. And that was all I would say. And I would say that repeatedly, even to this day. And when we finished our, I think it was 13 acts, 35 performers, vaudeville.
Yeah.
One's up, one's off. 3 minutes, 5 minutes, 5 minutes, 8 minutes. Dancers, singers, yo-yo, a trapeze artist, magic acts. I mean, bagpipes, marching band, drum and bugle corps. A little of everything.
Right.
And then we said, and now it's time for our surprise grand finale. And folks, would you mind staying just a few more minutes and attending Chuck and Deborah's wedding? So our officiator came up to the microphone, and Deb and I said a few words. You know what? It's really only 5-10 minutes.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, it's not a 2-hour ceremony.
Right.
If I were, justice of the peace, and he was ordained, and we spent 5 or 10 minutes. But I'll tell you, and we got married and kissed, and there we are, right on stage, opening night. So I had. I think Leona had asked me. I had met her as part of the historical society in town. As I was
Leona's part of the. I'm sorry.
she's part of the historical society.
Okay.
Just someone I knew.
Yeah.
And but I knew her because she was interested in the history in town, and I would have guessed she was 85 years old.
Yeah.
Most historians are not kids.
Right.
So I would have guessed she was 85. And opening night, someone came up to me. I'm in my tuxedo, seating people, greeting people, trying to be magnanimous, and hello, everybody. So glad you came to the reopening of the historic Granada. Please have a seat. May I get you something? And my volunteers came up to me and they said, Chuck, there's someone at the front door who wants to talk to you right now. Okay, so I go up to the front door, and it's there she is, and she says, Chuck, remember I said I would have guessed she was 85 years old. And she says, Chuck, would you mind going to the curb, the cars there, and helping my mother in?
Oh, my gosh.
That's the only response anybody can give.
Right.
What?
Your mom's here?
I said, your mom? And she goes, Mom is 100 years old.
Oh, my gosh. Yeah.
And Mom's parents had brought her to the opening night in 1929. And she then called her girlfriends, who were in their 90s, living in nursing homes, had called her girlfriends and said, I was at the first opening night, and I'm not going to miss the second one. Come get me. Well, they got her, and I helped her in, and I'd like to add that she has the most wonderful 100-year-old name, and her name was Mildred.
Ah, wonderful.
And Mildred has passed away now, but I think she lived to be almost 103.
Amazing.
Yeah.
What?
And it lived around here all her life, you know, just had to come back to the second opening night.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, how historic is that story?
Yeah.
And that's part of the Granada's history now.
Yeah, 20. Yeah, that is wow. That's like 87 years or something like that. Yeah, 86 somewhere.
See, we had opened in 2017.
Yeah, and 29, you said? Yeah. Wow.
Yeah, she was, 10, 12 years old. Yeah.
Well, what a great memory. What a great way to get started in the community. And
I think most people accepted us from that point on.
I'm sure.
And I'm sure there's still those that I didn't go to school with, but they see that we're hardworking people, and we don't take advantage of people, and we open our doors to all kinds of causes. And right now, I remember when we came to buy the theater, there was many on the city council and the urban renewal that we had to convince.
Sure.
I don't know why we had to convince anyone, because they'd had it for sale for 10 years and nobody else was buying it.
Yeah.
Everyone wanted it for free or to lease it for $1 a year. And here, Debbie and I are ready to buy it.
Yeah.
Oh, but they had to make sure we were the right people. We were the only theater people that had ever looked at it.
Yeah.
Nonetheless, city council members, urban renewal board, they had a concern. And the concern was that they had just started putting money into the Civic.
Okay.
The Civic Theater.
Yeah.
And that auditorium was now starting restoration.
Right.
And they thought, Chuck, how in the world can you compete with the Civic? That's owned by the city. We have much deeper pockets than you do. Oh, gosh, that's the truth. And you're just a couple blocks apart, and, you're just going to be... And I said, you're looking at it the wrong way.
Right.
You're looking at it competitively. I'm looking at it not as two theaters, but as one theater district.
Right.
Just like New York. Theater next to theater next to theater, and you go to the entertainment act
destination.
Of your choice. Yeah, your destination. And we are the entertainment destination.
Yeah, that's great.
If you drive by our new marquee now, you will see the Civic Auditorium's events up on our marquee right now, because I promised back then, I says, we'll cross-promote. I'll help the Civic.
Certainly. And I've seen them.
They're up there.
Yeah.
You've seen them, haven't you?
I've seen them, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, amazing, Chuck. What a journey. I think we just probably scratched the surface here. But I just always come back to this, and our downtown is strong and vibrant because of the people who own the stores and work downtown.
Absolutely.
And I thank you for you and Deborah both for putting in the time and the effort to make that a going concern again, to revitalize it, to restore it to its kind of historical roots, as well as bringing a lot of folks here to town that hey man, I can drive 5 minutes and go see a show. I can go see a comedian. I can go see a band. I can a community event. Yeah. And you've done a great job.
Thank you.
Yeah, well, thank you for coming in today. And
thank you, Tom.
Yeah, you bet. Okay.
Very good.
And we're out.